We are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to wake up and defeat your inner enemies with your own sword. Woke Warriors Joe and Ashley tonight. Skylar is actually busy. He had a technical difficulty with his phone and had a hard time getting on. So tonight is going to be, we don't have guests tonight. It's just going to be Q&A. We've had a lot of people give us a lot of feedback on our last Q&A session. And this is something that we're going to really dive into. And again, anything Q&A, I always want to put the disclosure up front that this is the opinions of the speakers, and this is not to be used in what can't be used in a court of law or whatever, right? Do your own research, consult your doctor or physician before listening to us, apparently, on any of this stuff. But no, this is really just, again, just some people who've really been in the fitness industry for a while, time tested, trial and error, reading books, listening to podcasts, compiling science, because it always changes and it's always trying to be on top of the game to get the, really just trying to get as most out of it as we possibly can at all times. And that's kind of why we really want to come together with a podcast so we can, again, give some content where people can learn. Ashley was just talking about how she got pulled over before we started here. So that was her, she jumped on a little bit later, but yeah, apparently got pulled over today. So,
but all is good.
All is good.
I wasn't speeding. I haven't had a speeding ticket since like high school, but I've been lazy. I didn't put the tags on.
Didn't put the tags on.
My
That's
kids
funny.
were just like, "Oh my gosh, what'd you do?" I'm like, "Nothing. I didn't do anything." Embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a funny when the kid's in the car with you and you put like, I don't know what I did.
Yeah,
and
I'm like,
of course,
well, we're gonna find out.
Yep, I guess we're gonna find out. That is funny. But no, so we did so we had some questions out there on Instagram, so we really want to kind of do that. And anybody listening, if you guys do have questions, message them to us. I know on our stories we are putting up surveys and things like that. I mean, if you guys have questions, just message either one of us or Skylar at any time, and we'll just keep adding it to the docket to basically cover on different casts. So don't sit and wait for us to put up stories to ask questions if you guys have them, and we'll definitely get to them. But one thing I wanted to get into, especially, I mean, everybody's got different backgrounds and things like that, but obviously with Ashley being a mom, a lot of females ask a lot of questions. This is one of the things that we're talking about. For whatever reasons, guys think they know everything in the fitness world, and it seems like women are always the ones kind of seeking out information and things like that. Guys are always out to ask questions or maybe find it, but sometimes they, again, it's not actually, it might be an ego thing where it's like they have a hard time asking questions, like acting like, well, if I ask a question, it means maybe I don't know what I'm talking about or something. And guys, it has nothing to do with that. I have gotten to everywhere I've gotten in this entire industry through just asking questions and pretty much plagiarism. Watching stuff on YouTube. Now, I'll do videos where, guys I follow are like Joe Bennett, Ben Pakulski, and the names go on and on and on. But if I do different moves, it's not like somebody can patent a bicep curl. It's not like somebody, first invented that. But at the same time, there's different techniques that I will definitely say, hey, look, I learned this from Joe Bennett. I got this from Stan Efferding. I'll definitely do a lot of that stuff. But it's just, the more and more we can learn, obviously what we want to do is improve. And that's kind of where we come in here. But there was a question, Ashley, and this will be right up your alley. Somebody said, hey, I've had several kids. I really want to get back into the gym. It's been a while. And they actually just said, where do I start?
I mean, that's such an open-ended question.
That's exactly right.
I mean, where do you start? It totally depends on just your life situation. I mean, when I first started out, I lived further away from a gym. Like my choice was home workouts. So you just have to find what works best for you. And you don't have to go all in on everything, start small. I mean, shoot, walking is so underrated. Like,
yeah,
if you have 30 minutes a day to just start walking, start there and then figure out if, home workouts are for you, or if you want to join a gym, join a class, find someone to, keep you accountable. Yeah, I just say start small. That's, I think, where people fail the most is they think that they just have to change everything, that first day. And it's overwhelming. And yeah, you just feel so much pressure. Just start
baby
small.
steps.
And just do the little things. And then progressively, as the weeks go by, keep changing little things.
And I'll kind of do a little spoiler for everybody here. All these questions that we have, the first answer is it depends. Because it really truly does. There is no right answer. It really does depend. It's just like she said, that was such a vague question, because it's like, well, I don't know. What is it that you want? What result do you want? And I think that's a big one. I think most programs, Mark Lobliner was talking about this. He's like, most diets, most programs, most any program out there is designed to work. But it's kind of like you have to know, it's kind of like that old Stephen Covey thing, begin with the end in mind. It's like you have to know what direction, what line do I want to get in? And then you have to go seek the information out from there. Like, for instance, let's just take three different lifting styles. You've got bodybuilding, say powerlifting, and say CrossFit. I mean, we're looking at three very distinct different workout regimens, different splits, just completely different fundamentals, really. But let's, now we're both in the bodybuilding realm. I look at it from the aspect of, well, if you train like a linebacker, what are you eventually going to look like?
Exactly.
You're going to eventually look like a linebacker, and if that's the route somebody wants to go in, by all means have at it. But I know when I got started, I did really like bodybuilding and all that, but I was a guy, I looked at the Men's Health fitness magazines and things like that. And I seen the guys in the cover and, the beach body looking thing. I'm like, that's what I want. How do you get that? So I looked at it more from the cosmetic thing, not from a powerlifting standpoint. It wasn't like, oh, I want to go see how much I can bench. I'm 41 years old, and I'll be flat out honest with everybody listening. I have never maxed out my bench ever once in my entire life. I've never done it because I'm just not interested in finding out. It hurts my shoulder and I don't like it. It's like somebody asking me, how fast can I run a marathon? I'm not interested in finding out. I'm not the slightest curious. I just don't really care. Right. So I think you really got to start with, what do you want? What is the end result that you want? And then again, those baby steps, again, just like starting off from, because you started off from home for quite a while, right? What, over a year or two?
Oh yeah. 5 years.
Okay. 5 years.
Yeah. I've only been in the gym setting for,
that's right.
Yeah. Like 22 months. So
okay. So why did you move from the home gym to an actual gym? Like, what was the transition, or what kind of happened?
Exactly what you were explaining. Like, my goal was to be a bodybuilder, to compete in the bikini world. And I was not going to do that or be able to with what I had at home. Now, yeah, some people are blessed to have, a lot of gym equipment. That just wasn't going to work for me. So I just went to the gym setting. But I think it doesn't matter what you choose to do. If the effort's there, you're going to have results and progress. But yeah, if your goal is, to be a power lifter and you're doing home workouts with minimal equipment, which quarantine tested us all, we know we can still make gains. But I mean, you have to have that end goal in mind when you choose whatever it is that you're
absolutely
going out to choose. So,
well, that actually ties into the next thing you're talking about. That one of the questions was, and obviously this can go in a million directions. Where did it go? What type of training do you do to build mass, to build shape?
I mean,
right, because women want to build mass, right?
Yeah, I mean, basic lifting. Like, yes. I always thought, before going to the gym or when I was starting out, that I had to do all these like crazy looking moves and add all these accessories and whatnot. But honestly, it's basic lifting and progress over time. Like, you should be upping your weights progressively, progressive overload, basic lifting. Like, don't overthink it. That's how you build mass. 100%.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is. There's, it's just fundamentals get boring. And I think that's what happens is a lot of people get into that. Well, I got to go to the gym and do something new. And I'm like, I've been doing the same thing since I started. And it's been a long, long time. I do the same thing all the time. I'm sore. I keep growing. It's like, if it's not, it's just, our bodies don't need new stuff all the time. Yeah, you can change things up. I'm not saying not to change things up, but yeah, that's exactly the case. Now following up with that, there's that old adage of high weights or high reps, low weight tones us. What do you think on you're just doing the
I mean, I think it's great to mix it up, and you can do, high reps and, lower weights, or do the opposite, push a PR and, get as many reps as you can. And that may only be one. I mean, I think it's great to add those different variables because it just, pushes your muscles. But I mean, like I said, I'm new to this. I mean, I've only been doing basic lifting for the most part, but yeah, we'll do drop sets and things like that to mix it up. But I mean, basic.
I'll watch. You'll post some of your stuff to your stories, and most of your stuff are 3 sets, 4 sets of 15, things like that. I noticed that.
Mhm.
And here's the thing with rep ranges and things like that. I really think that true muscle hypertrophy, they've been studying this stuff forever. And again, nothing's like totally definitive on what actually truly activates muscle hypertrophy and all that. But if you look at most of the experts who's been doing this for a long, long time, pretty much anywhere between 8 to 15 reps with a lot of time under tension is going to activate hypertrophy. So when I look at that and I think, okay, well, I could probably, let's say bench press or deadlift or something like that. If I can lift this one time, is that going to add to the shape of my muscle, or is that going to add to the strength of my muscle? And, obviously the bigger the muscle, the stronger it can get, but it doesn't mean necessarily that it is stronger. I've got a guy in my gym. He, at the teenage, he's a power lifter, and he's in his early 20s, but at 19 years old, in the teenage tested federation, I think it's UPA, powerlifting, he has the teenage bench press national record. So a national record holder. Yeah, I mean, 165 pounds. It was 330 some pounds. I think it was his bench for a teenager, and he has a national record. Now, if he and I stood next to each other, and everybody said for $1,000 bet who could bench more, I guarantee you everybody would guess me. And it would be so far from the truth. He would destroy me, because it's just different. Larger muscle doesn't necessarily mean stronger, but that's why, I remember when I got into bodybuilding, you would see guys like Kai Green at 300 pounds doing 25-pound dumbbell curls. The guy's arms were as big as most people's head, but he just had really controlled movements with 25-pound dumbbell curls with no momentum, no swinging, nothing like that. So, those rep ranges really do matter. But if you're out there at like 26, 27, 28 guys, all you're doing is you're just increasing your muscle endurance. You're not toning a muscle. You're just doing muscle endurance. And that's just my opinion. I just don't see people building the shape that they want, by doing that. And, and that's, we've got a bikini competitor here, obviously, but I mean, when we talk about shape, like what are the things, again, like take a judge, what are some judge feedbacks, or what is it that as a coach and teammates are telling you, what's the shape that a bikini competitor is looking for?
Oh, you definitely want that hourglass look.
Yep.
You want your shoulders to be in proportion with your glutes and your legs. And you definitely want, that small waist. You want rounded and developed glutes, but not too harsh, you want those tie-ins, but you don't want any muscle striations or anything like that. I mean, it's all proportions and how well, the overall package.
So this was a question. So when structuring a workout, somebody said, how do I decide what days to do what muscle groups, and what order and all that type of stuff versus just going to the gym aimlessly and doing something? Like, how do you structure your workouts?
I mean, that's why I hired a coach, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a professional. Yep. I mean, I don't have years and years of experience, but my coach, my feedback at my last show was you need to develop more density to your glutes. So we're like, okay, like that was my only feedback. So keep my upper body conditioned, which I don't have an issue with that. And, try to not target my quads because they're well developed on their own, and just beat the shit out of my glutes and my hams. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have some, good solid glute days. And then on those off days, I have one upper body day, and on off days it's cardio and yoga. So, and I recover well too. I think that makes a big difference too. I mean, most people laugh when I say that I hit glutes and hams 3 days a week, but I can recover from that, and I'm still pushing myself to the intensity that I need. So I think that makes a big difference too.
Now, why do you think you recover well? What do you think that you do differently that maybe a lot of people possibly don't or should be doing?
I mean, I'm definitely being more intentional about my warm-ups, being more intentional about, stretching post-workout, definitely, keeping your hydration in check, drinking, whatever your coach tells you. A gallon a day is what I usually tell everybody. Yeah. And just that recovery, hot baths, stretching, foam rolling, you can hit up your supplements, eat your good whole foods.
Yeah, I was really bad at stretching and foam rolling, and it was detrimental to my shoulder. I'll definitely say that, but it feels good now because I started doing that.
Yeah, it helps if you follow protocol, doesn't it? Which yeah. I hate yoga. I really do. Like anytime you tell me to like be still. But honestly, I've been more intentional about doing it because I would kind of rush through it. And I have noticed that it definitely does help. And yeah, just mindset wise too. So if you have yoga on your plan, just do it. Like, don't be a hater.
Yeah. Trying to sit still, but that's that thing, it's at a high, if you expect to perform at such a high level, you have to do what high level performers are doing. Everybody wants to have all the results, but yet they don't want to, treat their bodies the way. There's people, these professional athletes are paying, $100,000 a year in just maintenance, chiropractor visits, massage therapists, and, cryotherapies and all these type of things. They're doing a lot, I've said this, most people take better care of their vehicles than they do their bodies.
Yeah,
as asinine as that is, it is very, very true. So I look at structuring workouts. I look at it from a bodybuilding standpoint. And what is it that a judge is going to look for? Again, that hourglass for a bikini competitor. For any male competitor, it's going to be more of an X frame. So I look at how wide can I look before how deep or depth can I go? So what movements, when I'm fresh in my workout, I look at width before depth. Because if we go just depth, most of the time it's going to design our look to look blocky. So like if you look, like I said, if you train like a linebacker, you're going to eventually look like a linebacker. You're going to look blocky. If all you do is compound movements, you're going to get thick. You're going to get deep. Yes, I'm bashing the almighty only compound movement training. If you want a beach body. So again, it just depends. Well, I'm a CrossFit competitor. Well, great. Go do the movements, but again, if you're looking for the beach body, wide shoulders, tapered waist, and all that type of stuff, you have to do, isolation movements as well, because people will ask questions. This is a thing in America that's just so funny, is everybody's A or B, left or right. Everything's black and white. It's, well, is this right or this right? Joe, do I do free weights or machines? And you're just like, yeah.
Do both and see what.
That's, it's like, well, that's the thing. It's like, well, sometimes free weights are pretty damn primitive. They really are. It's like a construction worker saying, I just use a hammer and nails. Dude, get a freaking drill gun, dude. It's like, you can get, I find myself, I love cables. I use cables a lot because I can manipulate gravity, So there's all these different things that you can do. But if you look at isolation movements and compound movements, yes, you can actually do both. It's a crazy concept. You can actually use free weights and machines. It's again, I know your minds are blown and you're going to have to see a therapist after hearing this, but you can actually do both. So I look at width. So like if you look back in the 80s, a lot of the women in the 80s always looked and appeared like they had tiny, tiny, tiny waists. Whether they did or didn't, they appeared to have it. because they had built-in padding in their clothing. Right? They had shoulder pads that made their waist look like they're like 5 inches around, because again, it tapered down from their waist. If anybody watching on YouTube, I'm using my hands. If you're so I look at it like, if I'm going to start a shoulder workout, we are weakest with our side delts. So I'm going to work on my side delts because that is where I want to get my width. If I can stand on stage and look wider than the next guy, because this is stuff that judges will say, and I'd love judges' feedback on this. But what do they always tell competitors? Make your waist smaller. Well, how do I shrink my fucking waist?
It'll only go so small.
It's like, well, make your that's the thing. If you build your it'll make your waist look smaller, but it ain't gonna get any fucking smaller. That's like, I'm gonna shrink my pinky finger. It doesn't get any smaller, or I'm gonna make my head smaller. Maybe my ego can get smaller, but not my head. So so how do you do that? You go for width, and then you look at depth. So it's, yes, you have to start looking at, again, if you're wanting that beach body and you're wanting all that type of stuff. But again, these are things that kind of progress. I just had a chat with a guy that I've been training for 8 months, and he goes, okay, I'm ready for the next level. We've been working together for 8 months. He's just a lifestyle client, but it's okay. We're going to up our workout days. We started with 3 days a week. I'm like, 3 days a week, get your diet in check. Let's just make this. He is addicted. He's caught the bug at the gym, but it was those baby steps like Ashley was talking about earlier. I think a lot of people jump in too heavy, too hard, too soon, and then they can't fucking move. They got to call in sick to work because they just did legs and they can't walk or get off the toilet. And, it just, we've all pretty much been there if you've been in the gym, but it's like, I think it really does help finding a coach or finding somebody that's going to have some, just some kind of vested interest, or they care about you to kind of maybe give you some structure. But if you're not going to go that route, again, look at things that are going to make you appear wide before you do movements that are going to make you appear deep. Because if you look at your depth type of movements, again, that's what's usually going to make us look a lot blockier and thicker versus lean, tapered. Again, the X frame for dudes, the hourglass for women. It's like, Ashley, what do you do if you're trying to hit your outer hamstring quad sweep? Like, what are different, these are targeted things. It matters where you put your feet on the leg press and all that stuff, which, one, how do you do that? And two, how the heck do you try and not target your quads? I'm curious.
On the leg, I never do. Oh, on the leg press when I was like this morning?
Yeah. No, but just in general.
Well, I just only do one, your single leg presses.
Okay. So by doing single leg, you're going to, okay. Yep. I see what you're saying.
Where your toe placement is at and where you're pushing off the weight, but that all takes time though, to understand that. I think. So
you didn't have the mind muscle connection in the first 5 minutes in the gym?
No, I think it took me a good, seriously, 6 months. Cause my coach would always say that, and I would read that and I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like, yeah, I'm going in there and I'm doing what you're telling me to. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But then you start to realize, okay, I'm being more intentional. This is the movement I'm doing. I'm doing it because of this. I'm feeling it here.
Yes.
And that's, I guess, plays on your thing about like using a machine or free weights, or if you use a Smith or the rack, like you have to do what works best for you on engaging that muscle group that you're targeting. Because what someone does on like a hip thrust machine versus like a Smith when you're doing hip thrust is going to be completely different. So I think just going into your lifts, just being the most intentional and doing what works best for your body, because obviously everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
And that mind muscle connection.
It's a frustrating topic.
It is, but you can probably see those people physically in the gym when you're watching people lift who have an understanding about mind muscle.
Oh yeah, I can totally see it.
Yeah.
Yep, I can see people. You can see they're activating it versus just moving an object. I remember when I started in bodybuilding, my posing coach was like, "Okay, show me your lat spread," and I'm like, I can't. Like I had no idea how to activate I could not do it for the life of me. It was the most frustrating. I was so pissed off. I mean, I'm like, what the fuck? Like most people have never had to engage their lats. That's just, but then through lifting and just slowing down, and I think that's a lot of it. I think most people lift just too fast. They're so worried about moving that object from point A to point B. A dumbbell it has to come up and down, up and down. No, stop moving the object and start contracting the muscle, and then the object will move, if that makes any sense, kind of cart before the horse type of stuff. But there's a gal I'm training, again, lifestyle, this guy's wife, right? So I train them both. We've been, over time, progressively increasing her weight, which is what you're supposed to do. Last week or the week before, we were doing a lat pull down. And she told me, she goes, you know what? I'm not feeling my muscle activate at these heavier weights as I did with the lighter weights. Like she was in tune with what the fuck was going on, which is like, and I can just see it because from where she started to where she is now, guys, this is, for her, it's been 6 months. So her husband was 8 months. She's been training with me for 6 months. And it's like, just like you said, it takes about 5-6 months to get that. I mean, she's right at that point where she had this aha moment where she's like, okay, I don't just have to count reps and move an object. She's like, I'm just not feeling it the way I did when it was lighter. So we went down in weight and I started moving. And, I told her to move it just a little bit slower. And she goes, I felt it for the next couple days so much better because that mind muscle connection was in place. And that's, and especially with leg equipment and things like that, it's like you can really put, I did legs today and I had a volume today. I was doing like really slow reps for 20. And I'm going to be crippled sitting here after this podcast. I'm going to stand up and probably nod up and, not be able to fucking walk home tonight.
Maybe you should stretch and focus on recovery.
I'll be actively stretching while the podcast is going on here.
There you go.
But I did probably half the weight as I normally do. And I went twice as slow. I was doing pretty much almost 10-second reps for 20s. And and hell, God's honest truth, I think it's easier doing 3 times as much weight for 8 reps as it is for doing what I did for 20s, because at around 12 or 14, your quads are on fire and you think they're going to literally spontaneous combust, but it's like, all right, I got 6 more fucking to go. And, so all of that comes down to the entire answer, I guess. And this was kind of the answer to probably 3 different questions. Gee, imagine that we kind of got off topic a little bit.
No, you do that.
No. But I mean, if you think about it from the aspect of you got to try many things. And that's why you have to have the patience to just stick with it. And that's another question, actually, Ashley, that somebody had was, what is the realistic expectations people should have when starting?
To see progress, results.
All of it.
We could be on here for like hours on.
I
don't know. I mean,
we've been at this for a while and I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
I mean, like I said, I've only been in the gym for just shy of 2 years. And yeah, I've made significant gains and changes, but I already had that intention and discipline and consistency prior. So I knew that probably I would progress faster than someone who's just first time person walking in the gym. Not saying that they can't either, but I already had those disciplines in place. I mean, you just have to be patient. This stuff takes time. And if you're doing it the sustainable, correct, healthy way, it's going to take time. And somebody's month, one person's month versus, number 2 person's, month in is going to look completely different. But nobody wants patience. No. Yeah. I mean, we live in a world of instant gratification.
Right.
And that's why a lot of people throw in the towel, is because it's like, well, I did good for 2 weeks and there's no changes.
Yeah.
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 Because you're trying to reverse freaking years upon years of damage to your body. Like, oh, it took you 5 years to gain those 20 pounds or whatever. Well, it might take you 5 years to take it off. So
Yeah. To really make it sustainable.
be patient with yourself. And yeah, nothing good comes if it comes quickly, unless it's
something that and that, and I don't like getting into like arguments and confrontations, but I'm also very passionate and I'm very opinionated. Like one thing this is something that I hate, and I can't stand 30-day challenges. I can't. When I see these 30-day challenges, it's just one of those like this. You're utterly looking at failure. Because, and I don't know what your opinion on those, but I just don't. I see these 30-day things, and I'm like, 30 days is not. I mean, that's just not a realistic. Because people, guys, you're not going to arrive somewhere in 30 days. I think you really got to look at things for 90 days and 6 months out, and then even 12 months. I think you really got to set the bar for a long period of time, because the problem is, this is what I see with 30-day challenges, and I see them all over where I live, and you see them all over the place. But what they do is, it's like those ones that try and get the before and after pictures, and they put them on this like really, really incredibly extreme diet. And then what happens is, you can lose quite a bit of weight in those 30 days if you go on to some extreme diet. I mean, imagine taking somebody in the bodybuilding world, go give your average lifestyle client your diet, for your last 30 days of a show. I mean, and be like, here's your plan. I mean, what's going to happen in their 30 days? They're going to get some really good results. Well, then where are they at in 40 days?
Yeah, I think 30-day challenges should be a stepping stone. Like
a stepping stone.
We're really going to focus on these things for 30 days, but we're continuing.
Yeah.
Past. So, I mean, you'll weed out the ones definitely who are not in it, who don't have the mindset to change. But then also it's overwhelming to make all the changes that you need to make in 30. I mean, I think it takes 30 days just to figure your shit out, just basic things.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll kind of rephrase, I think somebody can look at a 30-day challenge, and it's how it's structured. There's some that are just like, this is your program. We're going to have you lose 30 pounds. And I mean, and there are people doing that. I mean, there are people losing 30 pounds in 30 days. I mean, but statistics show if people lose a significant amount of weight in a short period of time, 95+% of the time, they're going to gain all that weight back and then some. Almost 100%. There's a few. There's about 5% that won't. Those are what statistics say. So I think a 30-day challenge, if it's structured to the point where it's like, hey, let's get you in the habits, let's get you feeling good, let's get you, all those habits getting built, and then that can be a stepping stone to say, okay, let's go for another 30 days. You can do it because the mind can focus for 30-day segments. It's hard to get excited for something in 12 months. It's just like, I mean, it's just really difficult to get genuinely really excited for something that's going to be 12 months from now, So it's like,
like 30-day challenges or like weight loss challenges. I'm not a big fan of weight loss challenges because
yes.
Like,
and that's kind of what I was. Yeah.
I would never win one of those and not because I'm fit, because it's literally hard for me to lose weight.
Yeah.
Everybody's metabolism and hormones and all of that is so sophisticated that it's going to be different for every person. So I'd say if you're one who's hard on yourself to start with and you struggle a lot, a weight loss challenge shouldn't even be in your vocabulary.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a very, very good point. Because it is. I just think it really sets up a lot of people for failure. But again, it just depends on how people are wired.
Exactly.
There really has been some really good success with those. But I just don't see the large percent of the population. I think it really needs to be in 30 days. Most of my clients, this is what I tell them, and I've had I can't even count how many now lose over 100 pounds. But it was always over a year and stuff like that. But it's like I always tell them, most of my clients, I say, look, And I say this kind of sarcastically, but I tell them, I go, look, in 30 days, I don't really give a shit where you're at. You know, I say that with, I mean, not that I don't care. I'm not saying like Joe's heartless and he doesn't care where they're at in 30 days, but meaning like, I don't give a shit if like you're not this huge mega success story coming out of Joe's gym in 30 days. I'm like, I want you to be a mega success story in 6 months. This is something that we're going to change your entire life. You know, this is going to be habits. You're going to be better at what you do because of what you do here, you know, because these, obviously these habits transcend all over the place. But it's like, if you can get the right habits down, if you can start eating right, you can start feeling good, and you can start doing that, and you can start seeing results, and all of a sudden you catch that bug in the gym. I just had this conversation with the guy tonight, and it was one of those, like, I think these are my favorite conversations that I can ever have. Guys, I coach a lot of bodybuilders, but I train a lot of just lifestyle clients. So, and I mean, I love both, but the lifestyle clients they give me so much freaking joy and honor. But like this guy, you know, he's just, I mean, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But like at the end of his workout today, we just did leg day. So I mean, I just got done fucking punishing him. I mean, this was the heaviest, and this is his 3rd or 4th week with me. So like, he's still pretty new. And this was one of those like, all right, we're going to push today. You're going to fucking do legs, you know, like we're really going to do it today. And he was and it was like, you know, I'll be honest, guys, I was like 2 more, and this fucker did 3 more, you know, like, I'm like, okay, he's going to die. And he fucking did another one, you know, and afterwards he just had this grin on his face. Like, he goes, dude, he goes, I'm loving this. He's like, I don't, you know, he's like, I've had like one person say I'm getting results, but I don't fucking care. He goes, my mind frame right now, he goes, my mental state is just, he goes, I just like where I'm at in life right now. And it was just like, that is so much more success than someone losing some weight and, you know, in 30 days. Now, where will this guy be in 5-6 months? It'll be awesome. But because of his mindset, because of that tenacity he's putting in, is going to catapult. That shows every time when I can see I can tell almost every time when someone's going to have long-term success, because they're talking like this guy is. This fucking guy has caught that bug that, you know, he's addicted to the feeling of pushing through pain and being disciplined and all that type of stuff, all the things that it takes to do what we do.
That's just when you're to the point that you know that it's all in your mind. Like,
yes, it's
your
clicked.
Mind either catapults you or holds you down and holds you back. So I think once you pinpoint that and you find that turning point, yeah, it's going to be really hard to look back after that point.
And it is, because I can tell when people, I was like, I'll go tell other guys in the gym, I'm like, hey, Bob's flipped his switch, man, he's on it. Or, you know, Sally over there, you know what, she's got it. It's like that aha moment where you can see it in their attitude and in their eyes when they flip that switch, where it's like, okay, their mind has decided that this is what they're going to do. And I think that's a lot of what people have to do, is they do have to just make that decision. I think a lot of people are just looking for, you know, going back to like that, you know, how do you pick your routine? Ashley, I bet you get this a lot, where people message you like, hey, can you write me a workout plan? You know, why do you know, or like, meaning like they're just looking for this magical like routine, you know, like it's stuff like, well, do I do incline chest press and then pec deck fly, or do I do pec deck fly and then incline press? You know, it's like, you know, as if there's this perfect order of exercise, and, you know, like, you have to do it in this order, and that is what's going to get you the muscle.
Yeah, definitely. And that's just inexperience. And and maybe it's not. I'm sure there's people who have been in the industry forever and forever who still, you know, obviously knowledge is power. They're still asking things because you want to be the most effective when you do that. But yeah, sometimes it's just your own personal experience. I mean, yeah, I get those questions once in a while. I'm like, well, I just do what works best for me. You know, I'll get a lot of cardio questions. People are like, well, what are you doing for cardio? Walking at an incline. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, that's all you have to do? I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
Walking at an incline, like it's nothing, you know, yeah, it's hard. It's as hard as I make it, but it's nothing fantastic or sexy. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? We're gonna dive into the cardio question here in a second. Actually, that was one, and I think that can really go into some different areas. But that's that thing with like people will ask me. They're like, "Well, hey, I saw you did incline press with the machine, and then you went to dumbbell press. Like, why did you do that?" And literally, my reason was, well, because someone was using the dumbbells I wanted to use.
Mhm.
Like that was the amount of thought that I put into it. It wasn't like, I'm sure you have, your plan on a sheet of paper or whatever, probably a digital type thing where, we all have our plan put out in front of us. Well, what if someone's using the equipment that is next? Well, then what do? Just wait for them?
No, you just move along or find
Go to the
something
next one.
and I mean, if you're pressed for time, you find something to supplement. I mean, I do that all the time.
Yep.
I'll do a
Yep.
substitute on my app because someone's, on the machine or I'm running late or you just adapt.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's not necessarily the order that you do things in. It's the intention that you put in and the effort that you put in while you're doing that particular exercise. Now, okay, I had another couple ones that were written in. So we got that. Okay, here's one. Is fasted cardio better than fed cardio? What's your opinion? Put you on the spot. Here's the answer to to answer for all eternity. It's whatever Ashley says.
No, because really, I mean, it depends on the person.
Yep.
I personally do. Well, it isn't even really considered fasting because I drink a pre-workout. So
oh yeah, the fasting Nazis would say that's not
fasted. I mean, I'm just doing cardiovascular. So, and it's only 30 minutes. So, I mean, if I was lightheaded or had issues getting through that, obviously I probably would need some more energy. So I would want to look at doing like a pre-workout snack or meal, but I personally just do fasted cardio because it's only 30 minutes and I don't need the additional fuel for myself. I don't feel that I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the concept,
and I don't want to waste a snack or a meal.
I don't want to waste a meal. Fuck that. You only get so many.
Minutes. I out of there in 30 minutes. I'm not wasting a snack. Are you kidding me?
But that's again, the science behind it would show, hey, if I wake up, because that's why they call it breakfast, because you're breaking your fast, you're in a state of a fasted, right? And here's what fasted cardio is not, guys. This is what fasted cardio is not. It is not dragging your ass out of bed, sleep deprived, to grind out cardio. That is not fasted could be done at noon. It just means you haven't eaten prior to doing, So I say that because Stan Efferding did this. Again, I stole this from him. But he said people that, again, they drag their ass out of bed. Now, Ashley wakes up early, but she goes to bed early, right? So she's getting her sleep in. She's not dragging her ass out of bed, sleep deprived, to do cardio. Like a lot of group fitness and stuff will do that, where they, it's at 5 a.m., but they went to bed at fucking midnight. Like, guys, do not drag your ass out of bed, sleep deprived, just to go do cardio. Stan Efferding says you are stepping over dollar bills to pick up nickels. It's like the sleep that you are missing out on is better than that cardio that you're getting. So yeah, fasted cardio could be done at noon. It just means you haven't eaten for a time frame. Now, for the most part, fasted is going to be in the morning. When people say fasted, they're typically going to say in the morning. But just like I said, don't drag your ass out of bed, sleep deprived, to do it. So it just means the body is in a place where it's primed to burn fat. It doesn't mean that it is burning fat. It just means that it's primed to burn fat if you give it the stimulus to do it. Me personally, I do cardio at night. I do steady state. I just go for long walks. It's kind of therapy for me. It's when I'm home, I'm sitting idle, I'm hungry. The refrigerator is literally calling my name. And it just, when I'm during the day, I can be busy and out of sight, out of mind, I can get through it. But at night, I get pretty hungry. So that's when I just go out and I just go outside and I walk. It's just, it kind of releases my stress, things like that, but it makes me feel better at night. I just do it at night. So again, we have,
do your cardio when you can do your cardio.
Yes.
And if you're fasted, you're fasted. If you're not, you're not. I mean, I try to read up on this to see what's the most effective. And I mean, it's back and forth.
And then you just confuse yourself and you're like, I don't fucking know. I mean, there is. I mean, every study, every scientific thing can have, so many different freaking results. I mean, scientifically, I could prove that, again, sex doesn't lead to pregnancy.
Yeah.
I just study people over 70.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, but science would show, hey, nobody got pregnant, right? Or probably.
You never know these days.
Hey, how do you prove a point? You exaggerate the point, right?
Exactly. That's one of the questions that I had that kind of plays on the fasted do you feel that a pre-workout meal helps you push harder? And I'm assuming the question was tailored towards like before lifting. So interesting. Like, first off, when I started out, I thought I was a badass working out on just 4 hours of sleep. Like,
it was like a badge of honor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just thought I was just killing it. I also would never eat anything before I would work out. Now, my workouts were only 30 to 40 minutes. So, it probably wasn't anything that was detrimental.
Yeah.
But just in the last, I don't know, 6 months, I was asked by a teammate, they're like, don't you ever eat a pre-workout snack or meal before you train? And I'm like, no, why would I need to? And they're like, what? They're like, Ashley, like, you need those carbs for energy and you need that protein to sustain your mass. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so, I just started digging into it. I was like, wow. I mean, I am probably setting myself up for a disadvantage because I'm not utilizing nutrition to train.
What's the most important meal of the day?
I mean, breakfast, obviously, but I think your pre-workout and your post-workout meals are the most important to me.
So I would say trick question, what Ben Pekulski would say is, well, whatever your pre and post workout meal is.
Yeah.
Because it's like everything kind of comes down to, guys, if you want results, gals, if you want results, what we're fighting for in this realm is the almighty muscle. I mean, growing muscle to a certain degree gets very, very difficult at one point. When you're early on, sometimes you can get a lot of results, but then you fight harder and harder and harder. So how can you put the body in a state that is conducive to growing muscle? And again, muscle is raw material. I mean, guys can have that, guys and gals can have this argument all day long about, illegal steroid use and things like that. But muscle's not made of testosterone either, fellas. More testosterone's not just going to all of a sudden just start pumping up and filling up your fucking muscles. Muscle is made of raw material. If you're not eating right, if you're not fueling those workouts, nothing gonna happen. And there's nothing more frustrating than wasting your fucking time, especially you got families, you got kids, you got careers. Nothing is more frustrating than wasting your time. So you guys, if you're not doing the things properly to, again, fuel the body to get through the right exercises, it is just going to be a waste of time.
Yeah. So, I mean,
how did you notice your workouts after you started eating? Was it pretty quickly? I mean, did you notice pretty quick there was a difference?
Energy wise, yeah, 100%. Like,
so that led to like more reps, harder muscle contractions, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was able to push myself harder and not feel completely, I mean, you want to exhaust yourself. That's why you're training. Like, you shouldn't be walking out of the gym skipping. I mean, you didn't work hard enough, but I didn't feel like I completely just wasted myself.
Right.
to the point where I couldn't function the rest of the day. Now, when you're deep in damn prep, yeah, that's all you have in you.
Yeah, you're on fumes.
Yeah, I was just more effective, and I could recover better, and I was sleeping better. Like, all around, everything was much better once I started, doing my pre-workout snacks and then meals after.
Anything that can help with sleep is crucial. Sleep is where it all happens.
Yep. You are not roping the moon if you're getting 4 hours of sleep. It is not cool. It is not something that you should, be bragging about. And I was guilty of it. And that makes perfect sense why I felt like shit and why I wasn't progressing, because I wasn't intentional with my sleep. And I'll go to bed at 8:00. Like, I don't give a shit if I'm missing out on TV or whatever, because I know that it is definitely the backbone of everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, my background light just burned out.
Oh no, you're in the shade.
I'm in the shade.
And everybody is not going to watch YouTube now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You can't see my face.
Just turn your face to the light bulb up there. I can see you now.
I'll just come right back here. Now, see, I got my driven and funny shirt on.
There you go. Just back all the way to the wall.
Isn't that what that means? Driven and funny?
Yeah.
Driven AF, driven and funny. Since this is so fucking family friendly.
Exactly. Now people will tune into YouTube.
Now they're going to tune in. Yeah. They saw my driven and funny shirt here, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about cardio. Why do you only do incline walking? That just seems so boring and primitive.
Well, who says that it's any more superior to HIIT? Or
now, I'll just be honest. I don't do HIIT. I don't. I walk. I walk outside on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone on Instagram the other day about HIIT sprints and stuff, and I have been prescribed HIIT before in the past. It just doesn't work for me. Like,
same with me.
I can kill that shit. You got it. Like, it's not that I can't do it. It's just that my body will inflame like no other.
Oh, right.
I will be sore as shit. My weight will go up. Like, it just does not work for my body. Like, I incline walking, getting that heart rate up to that, steady state area that I'm still burning as many calories as I can is more effective than me doing high intensity.
Where do you get your heart rate to?
My resting heart rate's really low. It's like 56 for the most part. So my coach has had me at like the 130s.
Okay.
Which it takes a while for me to get up there. Like, I have to do a warm-up walk and just like slowly incline. And then, I like tonight it was like 10 at 3.8. So I'm going fairly quickly.
Yeah. So here's kind of the science geek shit that I am. Here's the science geek stuff behind cardio. So you have two different types of cardio. You have anaerobic and you have aerobic. So they're based on heart rate thresholds. And anybody who's ever passed a NASM course or whatever, any personal trainer, this is right there in their textbook. Aerobic cardio means with oxygen. Anaerobic means without. I mean, it is right in the textbook. So that's with oxygen, without oxygen. It's just, there's no, so this is not controversial. This is where it maybe gets a little controversial. And again, this is solely my opinion and in the opinion of the speaker and blah, 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 whatever. Here's my disclosure.
I just don't know shit, so don't listen to me.
So here's the thing. The most generic way to calculate where to adjust your heart is 180 minus your age. So that's kind of, that's the generic way to calculate to hit. Like, once you go above that, you're going to be in the anaerobic state. When you're below that, you're in the aerobic state. Again, that's the generic way to calculate it. That is not right. That's just kind of a guideline. Well, science says this: to burn fat, oxygen is required. If oxygen is not present, the only fuel that the body can use is glucose. So why do marathon runners have to carb load, and why do they hit the wall? Let's answer that one. Ashley, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, you have to find that sweet spot for which I feel like I say that all the time. It depends on the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. So that's, so here's the deal. So if the only thing, so let's say you go eat a banana and go run a 3-mile run and you burned 200 calories. Congratulations, you just burned a fucking banana.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather not do the cardio, get to sleep, and not eat the fucking banana. And you just did the same thing, probably in better result if you just got more sleep and didn't eat the fucking banana. So because again, if you get into that heart rate,
Joe, what if you get the sleep, don't eat the banana, and kick ass at your cardio?
well, there you go. But the only thing would be don't go run the 3 miles. Keep your heart rate lower.
Yeah. Or only half the banana. See, there's so many. There's so
what if it's fucking raining outside? Then I don't know. Not that rain has anything to do with your cardio and your calories,
joke,
but
guys, giggle.
Maybe there's it's like Dean talking about his keto Subway sandwich. So here's the deal. If you can keep your heart rate at a aerobic state, you are more primed to actively burn fat at that state is pretty much where the science is showing. But at the same time, here's the deal. Fat loss is predicated to about 10% to up to 20% of physical activity. Fat loss is food, guys. Fat loss is being in a calorie deficit. If you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. If you're not in a calorie deficit, you ain't going to lose weight. It's just the way it is. So that's that thing where somebody asked, I'll let Ashley answer this one. How do you get a 6-pack? Go to the gas station.
You don't eat like an asshole.
Don't eat like an asshole. But again, as they say, abs are made in the kitchen. Everybody thinks if I go do a bunch of weighted stomach crunches, am I going to get abs? No, I'm going to get a big gut.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what happens when you add resistance to a muscle and do reps, the muscle gets bigger.
And then you're still eating like an asshole.
And then you're eating like an asshole.
To your body fat, so you're not going to see that anyway. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to see abs unless you have your eating in check. And there are people who are just blessed and they have great cores and they don't eat the greatest. But at the end of the day, it's all about food.
It's food.
I mean, obviously I'm engaging my core, and I put this on my stories all the time. I'm engaging my core with all my lifts. I mean, your core and your back strength is very important when you're doing basic lifting, but I don't go into the gym and do crunches. I don't even remember the last time I did.
Right.
I do vacuums and I stick to my food.
Yeah. If you lift slow, matter of fact, most exercises, again, obviously you got the positive and you got the negative, or the eccentric and concentric, all that type of stuff. Most of the negative movements that you do in the gym activate your core enough. Mm-hmm. So guys, if you're skipping the fucking negative, stop. Embrace doing a slow negative on your lifts and you will engage your core. You will engage your stabilizer type muscles and then you're going to work them. But that's that thing. How do you get abs? No one ever asks, how do you get biceps? Everybody fucking knows. You lift fucking weights and you're going to get big biceps. But everybody has
adipose tissue is more predominant around the core.
Yep.
For men, and then around the hips and thighs for women, which sucks.
Yeah. Which is why it's the last to go. Where we store fat first is where it's the last to go. Mm-hmm. It's because everybody always comes in and they're like, I think I'm okay up here. I just want to lose down here. And I'm not kidding. I hear this almost daily. I think I'm fine up here. I just want to lose down here. And it's like, again, I mean, if I do these crunches, I'm going to target an area and make it go away, otherwise known as spot reduction, which is like, well, my daughter wants a fucking unicorn in the backyard too. We ain't getting one. It doesn't exist. You ain't going to spot reduce something. I talk all fucking day and my face doesn't get any smaller.
Well, it's just like I only train my upper body 1 day a week and it's conditioning. How come I still have delt caps and a reverse? Well, because I genetically that's how it is, and I don't eat like an asshole. I mean,
You only do upper body once a week?
yeah.
That's awesome. But again, I mean, well, no, I mean, it's like, it's again, take feedback from judges. Apparently they said you didn't have to. So,
no.
Well, shit. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I just do conditioning, metabolic on my upper body 1 day a week.
So what's that look like?
Oh God. There's like, like 10 different options for metabolic. It's just all your, like I put my ropes, ball slams, trying to think, just things like that are just upper body conditioning and not,
interesting.
Not looking at your heavy lifting.
Interesting.
Why is that interesting?
I don't know. That's just kind of, I mean, shit, if it works, it works. I mean, it is obviously if judges are.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I'm genetically blessed with a stronger upper body.
Because that's like you'll see. I always see this where like you'll see like husband and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends working out together, and usually when that happens, I mean, I'm not saying don't work out with your spouse. I'm not saying that. But usually when that happens, it's usually the guy kind of leads the workout, and then the girls do what the guy does, and next thing you know, like a year later, she has like fucking traps and. Because it's like
because they're not ever gonna train legs or what?
Well, that one, but it's like think about it. Guys are designating, 5, 6, 7 days at the gym. Hopefully not 7. At least guys take a day off.
Take a rest day.
Take a fucking rest day. But it's like they're, let's just say they lift 6 days a week. 5 of those are upper body, and then I mean, right.
And then they do two
and then
leg reps.
I fucking killed legs, dude. You did not kill legs, man. I saw it, and you totally,
Why?
But it's like,
why do dudes hate leg day? I mean, I can't say.
Do you want to know the God's honest truth?
Yeah.
This is why I've been murdering my damn legs. Now, if I didn't do bodybuilding, I probably would be just like most other guys and hit them every once in a while, like I did prior to me doing bodybuilding.
Why?
This is why. This is the actual answer. Because no guy has ever gone to their local grocery store and sat in the checkout line and seen Men's Health Fitness magazine, and it's ever accentuated a guy's lower body.
They need to do that more. Period.
so it's not like these magazines have like these guys with like these hamstring caps and these hamstring quad sweeps, and it's always waist up shots, and it's so guys think it's chest, abs, and biceps. That's my opinion.
That's why chicks are so focused on glute development, because if you get on
because it's the opposite for women. It's not like it is the absolute opposite.
Judge feedback. I'm not trying to keep with the trends. I'm just doing what I need to do.
Yeah, but it is like but if you look at like Instagram or whatever, they always have like this like perfect glute model, like doing squat. They just don't I just don't think they accentuate again below the waist for dudes when muscle development. Unless it's body. Well, hell, I mean, Men's Physique came out with a category that you cover your quads. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's not now. I mean, and you can still tell a lot of those guys have some pretty big quads because they're filling out their shorts. But it's not even. It is literally their legs are not even judged.
Well, it all needs work.
This will be a funny story. I've told some of my competitors when we're backstage, I'm like, because there's guys and girls backstage, everybody's getting their tan, everybody's back, now males and females shave their legs. And I'm like, hey, if there's like curtains or corners, like don't be staring at people's legs because you'll probably find out you're attracted to someone and it's a dude. Because I'm like, they're going to look like they got female legs because most of those guys don't do their legs because they're not getting judged. And next thing you're like, wow, that guy's got female legs. Men's Physique guys, you better be doing calves. Just right. My 2 cents. You better be doing calves. Don't have other men attracted to your legs backstage.
I don't have that issue.
But no, I don't know. I think that's I think it's what's being accentuated, and I think that's why. And I don't know. I think most guys, it's that chest day's fun. Actually, I don't think any day's fun. I actually fucking hate the gym. I hate lifting. It hurts. It's hell. But I love the result. I love being done. I love it's the aftermath of the gym that I'm addicted to and that I crave. But during it, it's like. It's like when you see people at the gym and they get done, it's like you were saying earlier, it's like, you shouldn't say that was fun. You shouldn't say, I had a good time, because really nothing happened at the gym if you had fun. It's not like no female on the planet ever said, man, birth was great. That was really fun.
The end result is fantastic. Yeah. I mean,
they can say rewarding, but not fun.
Yeah.
Because multiple women do it multiple times. So apparently it wasn't too bad if you did it second and a third time and all that stuff,
to the
right?
Gym, so
they keep, but yep, you keep going back. So again, it's that result, and if it hurts and it's painful and all that, and that's what I love. This is what I love about the gym, is it's not talent. It's not, man, look at the finesse that gal does leg extensions with. It's like, no, there's some technique, obviously, but it's not like there's some kind of talent. It's a skill. Talent is something that you're just born with. It just talent, half the time you can't even explain it. You're just good at it just because. A skill is something that is learned, and the drive and dedication and the discipline to push through things when it starts hurting is not a talent. That's just, you want the result so bad that you're going to push through the uncomfort part because you really want the result. And that's where it comes back to the very beginning question. If you don't know what you're pushing for, if you don't know that end result, then you're going to be spinning your wheels, and you're a candidate to be frustrated and burn out.
Yeah, you can get good at anything. You just have to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again.
And don't be afraid to ask questions, especially when people, you've kind of followed some groups and you did stuff like that, but you got into a team, you got a coach, you went and, you're like, well, if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to go ask people that do. Crazy concept.
Yeah. I feel like we are just around so many knowledgeable and wise people, and you can be far more effective with the things that you do if you utilize those people around you who know what they're doing and gain as much knowledge. I have learned things from people outside of my team and outside of my coach. Yeah. It's just the glory of social media and connections, is you learn so much from other people. But yeah, if you're struggling at certain aspects of your fitness journey, then find somebody who can help you, whether it's a coach or not. That's why those people are professionals and who have had experience, is to help people like me who don't know what they're doing. And then you just figure lots of things out on your own. Like, that's what I've done, is what is going to work best for me. And every free second I have, I'm reading something or asking somebody or figuring it out. But I also want to know the why. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask why. If your coach tells you to do something, don't just do it. Yes, do it, because that's being coachable, but do it, but ask why if you don't know why.
Yeah, because I totally agree with that. I ask what. I was that kid in school all the time. Why do I need to know this? Why am I ever going to do this? Mm-hmm. And then, it's just, but once you know why, okay, now I can go put that into, I can now put that into use because now I know why. And that's, and that's a thing where it's like, you have to get started, you have to get going. But guys, this is one of the biggest things. And this is where I think holds a lot of people back, is everybody expects to be great at something, and they expect it to, come easy. But guys, most things in life are not like that. You have to be willing to be bad at something. You have to be willing to be kind of uncomfortable. You have to be willing to, walk into the gym and, or wherever, and have people kind of look a little bit, and most And this is what everybody thinks. Everybody, and this might resonate with somebody because I've had a lot of people come into my gym and they always say this. My most successful clients have all said this. They come into my gym and they say, man, I was like nervous to come meet you. I'm like, why? I'm like, who the fuck am I for you to be nervous to come in? And they're like, well, no, I just see the success and I'm like, no, you see my marketing. You see my bodybuilding clients that look phenomenal and great. And most of my clients are not that. Those are the extreme type of things. But everybody gets so nervous, and it's not that they're nervous to see me. It's not that they're nervous to come into the gym. It's they're nervous that I'm going to tell them the shit they know they need to stop doing. Most people listening right now, you know exactly what's fucking holding you back. You know exactly what you're doing that you got to stop. Well, I do eat McDonald's every fucking morning. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you to not do that. Mm-hmm. Well, on the weekend, I'm a weekend warrior and I love well, look, I'm not saying you got to stop drinking, but dude, if you want a beach body, quit the shit. Stop it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
You got to own your shit. At the end of the day, the only person that's going to change those things is yourself. So, but I think
it's yourself.
It's the thing that it's hard to have someone from the outside tell you the things that you need to correct. Some people are really shitty about taking criticism constructively. Like, that's constructive criticism. Right. You're in a place where you want to tap into your health. Stop doing this. Stop doing this or that. And it's really hard for people to absorb and swallow when someone else is telling them, like, yeah, you're not making gains because you're not being consistent with your nutrition, or you're only coming in here twice a week. You need to be coming in here 3 or 4 times a week. Like, it's sometimes very hard for people to hear the truth.
Yeah. Well, I've been going to the gym. I've been doing everything you've been saying. Yeah, about that. I don't know if you've been doing everything I've been saying, but it's, we live, God, I started a new podcast I really liked, that Darren Woodson. He was on the Andy Frisella show the other day, but they have their own. He was a safety for the Dallas Cowboys, but really good podcast. But they had one today about the victim mentality. He said it. He said it plagued professional athletes. They've been in the locker room. Oh, coach doesn't fucking like me. Coach wants to fucking win. He's going to put whoever the fuck is best out there. So we have this victim mentality of, well, they're holding back with, my coach is holding back. And guys, it's just like Ashley said, you got to own up to it. You need to remove your head from your rear end and wake up a little bit and say, you know what? I am going to take personal responsibility for every fucking problem in my life and everything going well in your life. It's just wherever you're at, it's just kind of like when you put it on somebody else versus owning it up to it yourself, you're never going to make those changes that you have to make. You're never going to do it. But it's just like, I think that's when people, they come in and they just think they build up this thing. It's kind of like the same thing of going to church. Like, people like build this up as like, oh, they're going to know I lied. Well, they're going to know I cheated on my taxes as soon as I walk in or something. It's like, but everybody builds that up to the gym. Like, they walk in and I tell people this. I say, this is exactly what's going to happen when you walk into the gym, especially my gym. I have a small gym. I go, the second you walk in my doors, as I'm pointing to my doors that you all can't see right now. I go, the second that you walk into my gym, everybody's going to stop and look. And then they kind of sit there, just picture that. Like, everybody gets all nervous about everybody staring. I go, they're just seeing if they know who walked in. That's it. And then they're going to go, and then they're going to say, oh, I don't know that guy. I don't know that gal. And then they're going to turn around and start doing their set again. They're just looking to see who it is. Maybe they know them. That's all it is. They're not looking to to pass judgment. And if they do, fuck them. Then go to a different gym, find a good environment. But they're not there to pass judgment. You got to get your butt in there, get yourself uncomfortable, find an environment that people are going to, lift you up and show you what to do. But you have to be willing to be bad at something.
Yeah.
Just like Ashley said, it takes 6 months to get
ownership. Like,
yeah.
Who cares if you feel uncomfortable? That's because you're making yourself feel uncomfortable. I mean, take ownership. Like, I think it's a protection thing when people always think of an excuse. Well,
Yep.
why didn't you
Yep.
get 8 hours of sleep? Oh, well, my kids didn't go to bed till whatever. No, you were on social scrolling for 2 hours. Like, own your shit. Quit blaming and using excuses like,
Yeah.
oh, well, my family wanted to go out to eat. That's why, I, fell off track with whatever. No, you made the choice to eat that. Like, plan ahead, eat before, bring your meal there. Like, there's just, I think excuses are just a protection thing. Instead of saying, hey, yo, I fucked up. This is what I did. I'm going to correct it. It's hard for people to do that.
Yeah. 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 To literally say, you know what? I caved and ate birthday cake.
Yeah. Just say it that way. Say, I just wanted to celebrate this, because I haven't seen my family forever. No, just say you wanted to eat the damn cake. Like, quit
I wanted the damn cake, so I ate it.
Yeah. Just say, this is what
that's a good point. You have to just, yes, that's a great point. You have to just admit, I fucking ate the cake. I don't need the 10-minute backup story that justified why. Right? I mean, but that's what it is. Well, let me tell you what. Oh shit, here we go. Okay, it is. It's like, you have to hear the backup story. Well, then, my neighbor came, and this is where I met my neighbor, and I hadn't seen this guy. Oh, so you hadn't seen the guy in 6 years, so you had to eat fucking birthday cake. Like, that's not. I literally. Like, in my family, birthday cakes are big. I'm 41 years old, and birthday cakes are still big because we have, like, a bunch of young kids in the family. My parents have grandkids. So, like, we always do birthday cakes, and we will forever. Like, I have literally blown out candles on my fucking birthday cake and watched my entire family eat it while I went and got my chicken and rice. So, I mean,
then you have
I've done it.
But, people who are listening who are into bodybuilding and preps and things like that, I mean, obviously you need to, and I don't want to say fully enjoy, because I can personally fully enjoy those moments and not be eating, but that's our extremes with preps and things like that. Like, we
if I'm not in prep, I'm eating a damn birthday cake. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. So am I. Like, I'm going to make it happen. But yeah, I mean, if you're really serious about things and you want to make changes and, those treats are going to set you off, then you just need to own your shit and be like, moment of weakness. Now I have to try to do better and quit trying to sugarcoat shit and put Band-Aids over it. It's black and white.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hey, did you get any other questions from people?
Yeah, I had one other one, which will be one that you will be more into answering, just because of my just my lack of knowledge on it, is if someone was considering going unnatural, what age should they do it? And I know that you and Skylar had touched on this before.
Yeah. So you always, you always want to go to a doctor. But here's the deal with that. A doctor is not going to say, like, oh yeah, you should do it. They're just not going to. I mean, people really do need to run their levels. For males, low testosterone is about 260 and below is going to be considered low testosterone. So, I mean, if someone's like, yeah, my levels are like 800 or 900, dude, you're fine. So that, it's like, I remember,
well,
I don't want to get into that.
Is that, there's really no reason to cross that bridge unless you have an issue. Is that what I'm hearing? Or
yeah, unless you're low. Now, at the same time, I'm also going to say this. If somebody says, and this is just, here's the deal. Arnold Schwarzenegger started when he was like 16 years old. So, well, why did he do it? Well, because Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to be Mr. Universe, Mr. Olympia, and he wanted to come to America and get into movies. So, it's kind of one of those things like, hey, I'm wanting to go to the gym to get a little bit bigger biceps to impress that girl. Stupid reason to do it. I mean, this guy didn't specify whether, so I would say,
or
I would say for lifestyle and things like that, it's like, you really need to push it off. I wouldn't say anything prior to the age of 25. for the most part, again, I'm 41. I am no longer growing. But
well,
20,
hoping you grow up. But
I will never grow up either. Adult, that is stupid. That is stupid. I ain't ever growing up. Matter of fact, most adult, that's like kids are. I have a bunch of high school kids at my gym. Like, God, I like hanging out with them better than most adults because adults get fucking more screwed up, I think, as we get older. I'm not kidding. I think most adults get more freaking. I think 30 and over, I think you get more cynical. I think you get more gossipy, and I think you get more jealous and jaded than most freaking teenage kids. Anyways, there's my rant on that.
We could like record a whole nother.
There's the next pod. It is. I think adult
1,000 stories to add to that.
People tell kids, grow up. Don't ever do not grow up.
You need to take a note from your kid is what you need to do.
Yeah, you need to act more like your teenager there, Bob or whatever, Dad. It is. Anyways, man. But 24, 25, I really think, that's going to be a time frame that, again, you're already at incredibly high testosterone levels for the most part.
So what happens, I guess, what could happen if someone under the age of 25 decides,
so anytime, okay, so yes,
and their levels are completely normal. What's going to happen?
So what's going to happen is if you put exogenous hormones, exogenous is going to be non-body made. So your body is not creating it. So a synthetic version of testosterone is going to go into your body. Once you start putting that into your body is going to say, we do not need to produce this. So you run the risk of what they call shutting yourself down. So all of a sudden somebody goes on, they come back off, their levels plummet. They don't understand what they're doing to maybe get levels back up, that type of stuff. Now at a young age, you could look at it and say it can ruin your ability to have kids. I don't know. Arnold Schwarzenegger had like multiple kids. Then he was on it since he was 6. So, I mean, again, are there always exceptions? Well, don't do it just because Arnold Schwarzenegger did it at 16. One, you probably ain't Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, the guy was pretty driven and all that type of stuff. But I would go as far as saying this, and this is the truth. If you're really, really, really dedicated and you think, hey, I really do want to become an IFBB pro, and you're under the age of 25, again, this is about as controversial as you can get. You could contemplate it. I think you should contemplate it, but you should really, 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 really do your research, and you should really talk to a doctor that's going to monitor your blood work and things like that, because what's going to happen is if you're just doing it because you think there's a girl at the gym that you're going to try and impress, she ain't interested in you. I'm just telling you. Most attention I get now is not from women. It's from other men. So I'm attracting them.
Really, Joe? Really?
Social media, anyways. You'd be amazed. It would shock you. Well, actually, women probably wouldn't be amazed, but okay, so I can have those conversations when women get together and bitch about men on social media, because I'm like, I'm fucking tired of men too on social media. I don't want those pictures sent to me either.
Start screenshotting it and sending it. That's hilarious. But no, like going back.
Oh my goodness.
Even as a nurse, though, I mean, if you're thinking about using, those substances or crossing that bridge, like, you need to do it with a professional, someone who's going to monitor your levels, follow up with you, and make sure that you're doing it appropriately.
So to follow up with it, yes, to follow up with what she just said, here's the deal, guys. I know a lot of people who use steroids, and most of them get some blog on the internet from some fucking gym bro in the locker room. Well, yeah, dude, I just fucking run this and that. Like, this is your endocrine system, guys. If you don't know what your endocrine system does, don't fucking do steroids. I mean, I just, again, you have your lymphatic system, you've got, right, your endocrine system, right? We'll dive into some science here. But
they're drugs.
They're drugs, guys. They are drugs.
Yeah.
And more is not better. And there are, I mean, it is anything that can be abused just like anything else. And usually what'll happen is when somebody goes on, they're going to start feeling great. Their lifts are going to go up, all this. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, time to come off. Well, I can't do that. My lifts are going to go back down. I'm not going to,
it's all mental.
Guys, yes, the psychological side effect of this can really, really screw you up.
So in other words, what you're saying is, if you're not doing this wise and the healthy way, I mean, yeah, it's a drug, but there's still healthy ways to do it. I mean, you could set yourself up for having to do supplement for the rest of your life.
Yes, you can literally, and I will say, for the most part, most people who do start, you will be on for the rest of your life.
Oh, okay. Well, I think,
and I'll say that pretty much at most any age. That's just my I know there's people that don't, but for the most part, the overwhelming majority do. Because for the most part, most people are going to do this for quite amount of time frames as well too. But yeah, if you're going to do it, you are going to have to do a ton of research on it. I mean, for the most part, guys, and this is anybody who's even thinking and contemplating this, guys, there's 4 different types of testosterone families. So if you don't even know those, and if you don't know, if you don't, you got to do the research on it. Matter of fact, I'll be flat out honest. Message me. I study and read shit all day long. I can send you to blogs. I can send you to people that ask you to do consultations on all this crap too. Reach out to me and all. Again, I'm not dumb enough to think that I'm going to tell you to do it or not do it. Most people are like, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm just asking the questions. If you're going to do it, at least get the help that you're going to do it with.
If you're going to do it wisely.
Do it wisely.
The best way that you can, and have follow up, and
you're
not guessing. You're not doing it.
Don't listen to some guy in the locker room that just said, well, here's how much you do. That worked for me. Oh, all right, buddy. Sounds good. What's your background? Well, I'm a whatever. Okay. Guys, I want gains. I want results. I want them more than anybody, but God, I don't want to die 20 years soon because dad had a hobby, it's just stupid, and this is a scary thing. They did a survey with Olympic athletes. Now, most Olympic athletes are under the age of 25. They're 16 to 23, 24 years old. There was a survey done, and they said if you could take ABC drug, call it whatever. It's just called ABC drug, but it would guarantee you a gold medal, but it would cut 25 years off your life. And I don't know if it's 25, it might have been 20, but whatever, it's my story. Let's go with 25 years. But there was a true survey, and over 80% without even a hesitation or a thought process said, I would take it. Because, Ashley, go back when you were 18, 19 years old, 17, competing in sports and things like that. It was life, you're an Olympic athlete. That's all you know. You're wisdom of your years. Look at these gymnasts. They're moving away from, we have Chow's gymnastic place here in Des Moines. It's where 2 or 3 gold medalists have come out of, but none of them, their parents move them from Sacramento or whatever. So they ship them out here to all places, Des Moines. And it's they're this full-time gymnast and they're all homeschooled and this is their life and they're 16 years old and all it is about a gold medal. Well, they're not, I remember being 16, 17 years old. I'm thinking 30 years old is so far away. That will never happen. Well, 30 years old is far away from me because that's way behind me now. Life goes so fast, but it's now all of a sudden you got kids and grandkids, and I bet they'd want those 20 years back.
Yeah, definitely. Oh,
I got a gold medal when I was 20, and now you're 50-some years old on your deathbed because you took some drug that gave you the gold medal. So it's I think, we all want, I think it's a side effect of being American for the most part. It's we all want, bigger, badder, stronger, faster. There's that movie that was out there, Bigger, Stronger, Faster. That was a documentary done on this. And I think that was one of the biggest things was the side effect of being American is it's just like, it's push the limits, push the limits, push the limits, do more, do more, do more. And I think, you know, and I'm all about pushing the limits. I'm all about being more. I'm all about all that. But it's like, again, hone it in and be smart with everything. I mean, I mean, everybody, like, I'm a very radical personality. I am a absolute fucking radical. I don't do anything because I would probably really enjoy it. And I would do, like, I would be like that. That's why I never really got into like cocaine and all this type of shit, because I'd be really good at it. That's probably all I would do, because I'd probably like it and enjoy it. So I never did it, because I'm like, I know me. I would be like in a van under the bridge living, being a fucking great drug addict, you know? That's why I don't play video games, because I would probably really enjoy them. So I don't do it. I'm very radical with this stuff. And that's why I hone, you know, take your weaknesses, make them strengths, but know your strengths and know your weaknesses, and make sure that you channel it into something that, again, if you have loved ones, obviously consult them, figure things out. Don't just tramp on everything and just go do it no matter what cost. I mean, obviously when we have other people, you know, I mean, yes, Ashley has 3 kids, you know, yeah. Mom has a hobby. Mom wants to be a professional bodybuilder. Mom has to wake up and do her life, do her work around her kids' schedule. What was it? I saw you were traveling all weekend. Mm-hmm. I mean, I look at some of these young bodybuilders who don't have kids, barely have careers, and they're bitching about shit. And I'm like, the fuck are you bitching about?
But
like,
I think it's just because they don't know any different.
Because they don't know any different.
If you don't know any different, yeah. Because I'll have people like, I don't know how you do it all. Well, I don't have a choice. Like, this is just how my life is. And
yeah,
if I want to continue this, then yeah, I'm going to have to get up at 3:50 and, you know, get my training done before my kids wake up. It's just, that's just how it is. When you know no different, yeah, those little things are easy to complain about. I would love to have 15 minutes to do nothing.
Yeah. What is people like? Yeah. People ask me, when do you relax? I'm like,
what is sleeping? When I find
what is
sleep?
What is relax? What is this thing you called off time? What is this? I don't. Yeah. Explain time off to me. I don't understand that.
You know, I don't want to glorify busyness, because that's a waste of your life too. Like, you have to be in the moments and present and enjoying those times. So, I mean, I don't ever want to glorify busyness, because I've seen it and it kind of gives me a bad taste.
Yeah, it can go the extreme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you just do what you have to do.
And I've been guilty of that. I've been, you know, I get so tunnel vision that I need to, like, hey, chill, just, you know, just slow down a bit.
There's just not enough hours in a day.
Yeah.
When you have 3 kids and a hobby and a full-time job. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tight. That's why I always use the word intentional.
Yeah. I mean, we really, most people, guys, you just can't wake up in life in general and just wing your day. Just wing it. Well, I'll see what happens today. I'll just start walking this way. And, you know, I mean, you really have to be intentional with what you're doing. Everything has to be planned out, like check things off a list, you know, just get things in order. Otherwise life is chaos and all that stuff. But yeah, we're at 8:30. I don't want to take up your whole night. I know, I know you.
I was talking about sleep. I need to be in
bed right now. I know. We'll get that. But hey, guys, again, we'll wrap things up. But one thing we just want to really just say thank you. We've had so much just awesome feedback. I'm still waiting for the shitty feedback. Like, who's that annoying guy that won't shut up or whatever, you know? But, you know, we haven't had the really bad feedback. I'm sure it's coming. But hey, no, I just really appreciate the feedback. You know, we want it just as much as anybody. You know, we live in a world where, you know, we're only recognized when we fuck something up or screw something up. Like, no, we really love the feedback. We are glad that people are enjoying the episodes. You know, we've got a really, really dynamic cast here from all different walks of life. And I think that's, you know, resonating with a lot of people. But at the same time, literally, I love feedback. I love messages from people. If you guys have questions, if there's anything that resonates with you guys, again, just reach out. I mean, I know I've had people who follow Ashley reach out. I'm sure you've had people that follow us reach out. And that's kind of why we got into this, was to really kind of open up the realm of social media and really just start, getting to meet people and helping people out and learning as, again, I'm going to learn more from this than probably anybody. But if there's anything that resonates with you guys, again, just reach out. But I just want you guys to know I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And I mean, we highlight guests. We let everybody know who's going to be on for the week. And yeah, if you have a suggestion of someone that you want us to bring on, we're more than willing to do that. Or if you see that we're bringing someone on and you have a question for them, don't be afraid to just, send us a message and just say, hey, I really want to know this from this person. I think that, sometimes we miss a lot of things because people, don't think that they can give their feedback or questions or whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everything's been positive so far, but yeah, I'm fine with someone saying, hey, I think you can improve upon whatever. I'm all about that. Like,
yes, I totally agree with that.
We're just starting out. This is just the beginning. So,
and for anybody that is in the Des Moines area on April 24th, there is a local NPC bodybuilding show hosted by Jack and Ann Tatone downtown. We have some athletes doing the show, but the entire crew of the Woke Warriors podcast will actually be at the show. We will have a booth, and as a matter of fact, we're actually going to have some apparel for sale. So we do have a little bit of that as well too. So stop out and see us there.
Say hi. Don't be shy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But hey, Ashley, appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. Have a good night.
You too.